Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Friday, October the 26th. I'm going to do our chart lesson real quickly. I'm doing it very early this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, simply because I've got to get out of here early today. My son has a ball game, and it's about 2 hours away tonight, so I got to leave the office early in order to make his game tonight, which I need to be there. So anyway, for that reason, I'm doing the chart lesson a little bit early. It's been a really good trading day, though. Um, there's been a lot of entries. They've all had fairly good movement. I would categorize this as a trading range day. You can see the range. There's the highs. This is the lows. We had a trend up, and then now we've had a trend down, and now we got another trend. And I didn't put any of this. I haven't been trading since taking my last profits off the lows down here, but we've probably got a I would say that's probably your channel on the way up right there. So, but anyway, could have even been like that and we overshot it, and you see that's probably going to be the center. This is probably more like it right here, something like that. Or this might even be it right here, and we just overshot it right there. Not really sure where this is going to be yet. It's kind of hard to determine, but I feel pretty confident that's your trend line going up through there. Now it's just determining where this is probably going to be, and that might be it right there. We got the test, and but anyway, we'll get this off here for now, just so our chart's not too cluttered up. But let's talk about the trades. Let me back out a little bit. We'll talk about the trades. We had, this was actually the highs from yesterday, and this was a pretty important low from yesterday. And I really actually started with this down in this area today, but when we bounced here, you can see that that was the closes from yesterday afternoon, and that turned out to be the lows as well. Turned out to be the low of the day, actually, after the regular open. So, but let's talk about the trades. But it is a trading range type day, and we just had a trend to the upside. We had a trend to the downside, and now we're kind of trending back to the other side. But right out of the gate this morning, we had this, we had these highs across here, and they were from yesterday. So there's strong resistance up here, and anything that breaks higher is probably going to fail and come back or snap back, at least temporarily, back to the EMA, back to test this area right in here. But when you got these two overlapping bars, I tried to get in with a limit order up here. Didn't happen, so had to go short right there. And actually there was a long right in here, but it wasn't a good long, so I didn't mark it. I didn't take this long. I missed it. It would have been a good one. I didn't get here. I was a little bit late getting here, so it was like 8:45 before I got my charts up and ready and got on. Figured out kind of what kind of day it was and what was going on. But this is an overshoot of this channel. We already overshot it once, and so this was a second overshoot. You had the two little overlapping bars. The last one was a doji, so the best place to go short was if you could get a limit order filled, but that didn't happen, so I had to enter on a stop right here. Easy scalp, but they came right back and took the runners, my runners on that one. So, but you got a chance to re-enter right here off of this bar, and you could have given this a little more room. I didn't, because I wasn't convinced that we may not make another run up here, and I didn't want to give all my money back. But when this ended as a doji, that gives you a second entry short, still way away from the EMA. I've never touched the EMA yet. So this was a great place to get, and we've had two overshoots of the trend channel line, so a nice place to get short. And this time you did keep some runners, and again, if you held on to them through this pullback, but usually the best place to exit your runners is a touch of the trend channel on the other side. And I actually got this trend line after we made this low right here. I drew this line right here and just copied it and drug it up just like so. And lo and behold, that's right where the turn happens too. So, and this is just kind of a repeat pattern of this over here. You got your overshoot. Prices come down, it goes back up and tries again, and you get a second entry short right there, and then it was off the race. And if you didn't enter there because of the overlap, you could have entered on this breakout pullback short, but that was a little more dangerous because now you've gotten so close to the lows down here that you never know, you might bounce. But it went right on through there, made a new low, and then kind of worked its way back to the EMA, and then there was a trap on this one right here. So there were a couple different places to enter in here. Really, this was the best entry right below this bar right here. And you can see there's your first leg, and then you got a two-legged correction in there, and then there's your second leg. It's almost a perfect measured move. But that little stem up there and the fact that that turned down, I actually went short right there, and I almost let them shake me out of it. But you know, that's your first break of the trend line. You got two legs back up that tested this high across here. And you know there's a lot of selling going on here because every time we get up there, you can see that all the way into yesterday. Every time we get to this area, there's a lot of selling in there. And by this time, I'm thinking it does kind of look like a, you know, we're looking like a range day. So nice, easy short. Your runners would have survived here if you hung on and didn't get shook out in this all this overlap. A lot of times it's better just to exit here. But when it ticked up there and didn't go anywhere and turned back down instantly, that was a good sign. So I just hung on, and you could have re-entered right here, even though that's a doji. You know, you got kind of a failed second entry long there, and because you got one leg back, your first move up, a second leg back, and a second move up. So that's, you know, if you went to a smaller chart, you'd see a second entry long there that triggered, that failed, and so it's kind of a trap. And of course, that's right where I was looking for the trend line and all that. So nice, easy, I won't say a nice, easy trade because it kind of fooled you a little bit in here, but once it got going, it just took a little while. Then you can see this is a very weak correction right here. There's no, it's all overlapping. That's acceptance of prices at this level, and that's a breakout pullback short opportunity because you got this, you got those lows right there, and you see we broke lower and we came back and tested it, and you got a little trap right here, and this is a very bearish bar, nice place to get short. Your thought should be to ride it down to where it touches the trend channel line, and that came in right here, and you can see that was a nice setup for, and there was a long right here because this was the first break of this trend line. Really, you kind of had a break here, but that was in the overnight, and so you really almost have to ignore those. But this was considered the first break, so there was a long there, but that is dangerous after a big move down like that. And I think somebody sent me an email. They actually got long right here just trying to buy this blindly or so. I think they had a couple of overlapping dojis and they bought a limit order in there, but still it doesn't look like you should have got, even if you bought that right there, that's a 1405.50. You still shouldn't have got stopped out on that trade. So unless you just kept a real tight stop, you definitely shouldn't have had your stop above the latest low, which is right over here. So anyway, I don't know. I circled that in green because that's a counter trend trade after a really bearish move down. But you know, those are the ones that generally pay off the best, and that was a quick, easy scalp, and any runner would have run all the way back up to the high side. So if you took that, so I had to mark that one, but that is an advanced entry, and people are, you know, people send me emails that are trying these trades. Just don't counter trend trade unless you're really good. That's an advanced trade, and you know, and these trades will fail more often than any other kind because they're counter trend trades, and they'll trap you a lot of times. And so just be careful with them. And I'd be very hesitant to take them unless you know what you're doing. So we already talked about that trade. That's a second entry short, really like a two-legged pullback to the EMA. And generally, these are still good trades until you touch the lower trend channel. Once you touch the lower trend channel, then you don't want to take the one off the EMA. You see that one right there, it failed. And I believe somebody sent me an email wanting to know why I thought that one failed. Well, we just came off the lower trend channel, and the odds are we're going back to the high side. So those are the ones you stay out of and wait till you get back to the high side again. Here it is. Look at that setup. I was tempted to go short right there, but I hesitated because of that. Those two dojis, And I figured we'd probably get one more push up. We did. We made a double top. We turned down instantly. So great place to get short right there. And again, I rode this all the way to the low. Turned out to be the low of the day. I think I exited at 99.25. I exited right in here somewhere. And the reason was I was trying to exit right above that trap right there, because that's usually where they'll run it to and it bounces. And it ran on down, and I probably should have just exited one tick above where it was coming into this. But I had a limit order there, and I didn't want to move it. And so I kept it in there. And so I missed out on a point or so there. But you don't want to get greedy, because sometimes it'll come up short and bounce and take off and never come back. And again, now you're coming off the low side of the trend channel. So you got to be careful getting short around the EMA now, because you'll probably get trapped. And there was a nice looking setup right there. Let's see if I don't know if that would have worked. Of course, I didn't take it. I was actually done at this trade right here. 1400, and it went down to, yeah, it would have worked. But that's those are the ones you got to stay away from. Once you've touched this trend channel, unless it's a real strong trend day and nothing's getting back above the EMA, then just stay away from it and wait till prices get back up here. And again, there was a long right here if you wanted to take that, but again, it's a risky trade. And just, I probably should have circled this one green too, because there was a long right there as well. And you see, all of them would have worked. They all would have worked, but they're very risky, so just stay away from them unless you really know what you're doing. And then, of course, now we got a break of the trend line, but you got another double top, and you got that little trap right there. And I wanted to enter this on a limit order, and I talked myself out of it because I thought we might run up a little higher and then come down and test the low, but we didn't. So I had to enter right here, an easy scalp, but that's all you got of it. It reversed instantly, and it's been going up, really been trending up ever since. So but you just about have to take all of these around. If you get a setup around this trend line all the way down, and it'd be the same thing all the way up if you get a setup. And there was actually, I'm trying to remember, there was another, I took this long right here as well, and I didn't mark it. And the reason, you got all this overlap, you got a double bottom, and we broke below it and failed and turned up. So I actually went long right there and rode that up to the high side. I thought we might get through there and go back and test the high, but then it turned back down right in there. So so there was a long right there too, and I'm gonna probably color that one green right there, but I'd forgotten about that trade. But there's a trap there. There's a short trap. It's a failed second entry short that reversed and turned into a nice second entry long. That's 2 legs back, and you got to figure you're going to get at least a measured leg here, and you never know, it might get on through there and get a little higher towards here. And so, but I just all it was good for was a scalp. They came back pretty quickly and got your runner. So but that was it for the day. And there's actually, I mean, there was actually a long here too, but this was really, really risky. If you had this trend line in place and you saw that bounce and you wanted to go long there, it was probably okay. I didn't have this down there yet, so I really wasn't looking for longs yet, because I really thought we'd test this low one more time, and we may do it before it's over. But this might also be the retest from here. I mean, really, you got to go, if you back out and look at it, it's just a trading range day, and we've tested both sides of the range, and my guess is the odds are we're going to test this side again, and then we may come back down again. So that's the one time you don't always get a real good retest. Even though you may get a channel or you may get a good trend line, you still may not get a good retest if it's a range day. And if I back way out, you can see that. I mean, that's just a range day right there. Nothing else but a range day. And of course, there's still a couple hours left in the day, and we could make a measured leg up from here up to here that's equal to this one. Let's just see where that, I mean, that's always a possibility. So that puts us way up here. So that's a possibility, something to think about if you're still trading, because I'm going to post this pretty quickly. But that's what I saw today, up through about 1 o'clock when I quit trading. Actually, I quit trading after this trade right here about noontime. So I'm going to wrap it up. Hope y'all had a good trading week. And hope you have a better one next week. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see you Monday. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com.